virtual day. One thing that I'll mention right now is this is the lighting you guys see me in, not good. The lighting you see Victoria in, excellent, right? Bright lighting, no distractions. Your face is like, you know, very, very clear. You should be in a quiet setting, no background noises. If you guys have something like an Echo Dot or like some other, you know, device that, you know, hears your voice in response to you, disconnect it so that it doesn't interrupt you during your interview. Take out all distractions, make sure your phone shouldn't be on the desk in front of you, and it shouldn't be anywhere where you might glance down on it. Like if you get a notification, it's almost like instinctive that you'll glance down. You don't want to do that in the middle of the interview. You want to be facing the camera. So remove distractions, make sure your background is clean, exactly like Victoria, white background, fantastic, you know? So that's the background you want. And yeah, what I'm wearing right now, if I wore a blazer, kind of appropriate. For an interview, I likely wouldn't wear something like this, even though like it's like appropriate. It's like yellow and blue, so it can get really distracting. So think about solid colors. They can be bright if you'd like, but nothing too kind of chaotic, right? So attire, which we kind of just went into, business professional. If it's a virtual interview, whether it's a virtual interview, whether it's an interview in person, right? For men, slacks, button down, coat, tie is optional. I would say think about the company that you're interviewing for and think about like, you know, like when you see them in other settings, how like strict they are to the business professional dress code. There's nothing wrong with overdressing. It's what I say for an interview. If your interviewer is wearing jeans, it's fine. They already have the job, right? Like they don't need to wear a button down. Okay, the thing is they should be trying for you. So ideally they would also be dressed up, but if they're wearing a t-shirt, you know, you can't really get away with that. Even if you're interviewing for like a more tech job where the dress code does tend to be more casual, I would say still go for like at least up to business casual. So like a nice sweater would be okay for that occasion. Even if they're wearing a t-shirt, it's okay if you're dressed like one step above them, you know? Right, communication, think about the tone, the level of voice. Some people might have their speakers up all the way to the top, so you don't want it to sound like you're yelling at them. So, you know, just try to kind of modulate your voice. And I have personally a cursing problem. And so at work, it's like, it is a challenge to kind of like, you know, filter myself. So just really think about as you're interviewing, you want to filter yourself too, and take pauses instead of filter words. I have, you know, like I have so many filter words that I constantly use. In a casual conversation or in a business conversation or in a team meeting, that's okay. But in an interview, you don't want those filler words to become a distractor. So if you're searching for thoughts, pause instead of putting in a filler word. Let's see. And then finally, technology. Make sure you have good internet connection. If you think you might lose connection, make sure you have a backup plan. Like, hey, if my laptop doesn't work, I can use my roommate's laptop, or I can use my parents' laptop, or I'll log in on my phone. Do a sound check. Make sure that you have good bandwidth so that your picture comes across great and isn't blurry in any way. So these are some of the things that you should keep in mind before you go into a virtual interview, but also I think attire goes across if it's in person. And communication does too. Like these two, I think, are relevant regardless of whether you're doing a virtual interview or an in-person interview. Great. We're a couple of minutes over, but does anyone have any questions? I'm happy to stick around a little and answer them.